What's up? Welcome back to the lab. As you can see, we got the same clothes on.
Yeah.
That's because we shooting these episodes back to back.
You're welcome.
It's a 2-for-1 special.
This is my attempt to not miss another week like I did on episode 2. But we here.
Right.
So welcome to the lab podcast with 4 friends. I am Aaron.
Camille.
I am Gail King.
You just be picking the
And I'm Matt. Still. And always.
worst of them to be.
He enjoys it so much. Look at him. He's so happy.
But let's go ahead and get right into our first hot topic on the docket. This one is kind of interesting, kind of serious. Touches on a little bit of serious topic. I just want to give that preface. That preface is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, preface.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
You're all right.
I don't know if
It
it was
sounds
used in the
smart.
right context, but
I know it
was. Go off.
So Nicki Minaj's husband, I don't know his name.
Kenneth Petty.
Thank you. Was recently arrested for failing to register as a sex offender. He's since been released on bail. It was a $20,000 bond, and he's since been released. I can't remember. I think we tried to look it up. I couldn't find it. What exactly he did to get him to need to register?
Well, there's several counts.
Several.
Have you seen the pictures of all his mugshots?
Oh,
Jeez.
all right.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't know.
I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. This came across my timeline when I saw a video of Nikki and him going to some school for, I don't know, Nikki was reading to the kids. And like I say all the time, Twitter be wildin', anybody can get it. The top comment said he's allowed in the school, and I was cracking up. So
Okay.
I don't know what he did,
I don't know either.
but it just a whole lot of it seems weird.
I mean, I feel like it's interesting that I don't know. I feel like, how do you not register?
He think he's too big for it.
Yeah, he obviously didn't care.
He too big for it. He big time.
Right.
Also, was he famous before?
I don't know.
I don't
him.
think so.
I'm not gonna lie.
So where did
I don't
he find
know who
him?
he is. I don't know. But I feel like
She going through
low
some
key
things.
things like
She had a
that
midlife
seem to
crisis.
follow her. I mean, like
Crisis.
you got like her brother, which is sad, so sad that you know.
Wait a minute, that is a collage.
These are all him.
That's
Wait, what is
him.
that one in black and white? How old is this man?
You see black and white.
Well, anyway, so my point is that I feel bad for her
He's
because
so ugly.
she has to go through that with her brother. Now she has to go through this with her husband or boyfriend, whatever he is to her. And I don't know, it's just kind
You
of.
know
he's
what?
a-
This isn't. I don't want to speak this on her, but sometimes if you go through traumas like that, you get attached to that trauma.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of Stockholm syndrome.
Hello.
And it
Alright,
becomes what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
used to,
But fix your
and
life.
that may be what she felt like she gravitated toward.
I mean, a lot of
Also-
heat
Yeah.
that she does get is that people say that she usually gravitates towards the abuser and takes their side because her brother is pretty sure currently in jail.
I think so.
Just say allegedly, just to.
Well, if he's in jail, he's in jail.
All right, I'm just saying.
But I mean, he just said he's in jail.
Okay. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
For allegedly doing what?
They found DNA. I'm not going to get into it, but and now she's with Kenneth Petty, who has all these counts. I want to say 17. That number's sticking out in
Petty
my.
is a terrible lesson.
So,
That number's sticking
It
out in my
is.
head, and people gave her heat for working with Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, because he's got that case. He's got a case too.
Those memes are
Yeah,
hilarious.
she
So-
do seem to gravitate towards that stuff.
according to Billboard.com, her husband, 41-year-old, and he's 41 years old. He served 4 years in prison after he was convicted of attempted rape in the first degree 25 years ago.
Attempted, or
Attempted rape.
well, did he or didn't he?
I mean, if
Well,
you
if
attempt,
you're
you still go to
attempting
jail.
to,
Oh, okay.
just
And
like
you
if-
still got to register as a sex offender.
Yeah, so
Okay.
obviously, and even within those cases,
Well, that's good though.
things might have happened that we don't know about. So I hope that the details of what happened come forth so that we all as a society would have better knowledge of what happened and can make a better judgment call. But, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't.
No, it
I
don't.
just don't understand
And-
what made her decide, you know what? He's a catch.
Because the
You
picture
the
I
one.
saw,
It's like, you're a sex, but did you do it?
I
What?
mean,
Also,
he looked like he did.
real quick,
I'm sure he did. I'm just
second
saying.
piece of that. Why was Nikki and Meek going crazy on Twitter like 2 weeks ago? Back and forth, like
Because she still want me.
they was
Wait,
wild.
I
So
saw
so
I don't know.
still
I'm not on Twitter,
I
so
saw the
I don't know
whole thing
what's
play
going
out.
on.
Still
two
want them.
pieces. They kept going back and forth. Like she was talking about like calling him ugly. Mind you dated him, so clearly he wasn't ugly the whole time. Right. He was dumb.
She likes ugly.
He was saying the stuff about her brother and about her current husband, about the stuff that they had been or had not been into, whatever. And they were just going crazy. And then afterwards, what made it even crazier, this is off the topic of Nikki, more on Meek. Mad people on Twitter was looking at Meek like, why he out here yelling with his ex on Twitter?
Right.
Got his current baby mom looking crazy in the house.
He said his baby mom was like literally laying next to him while he was going off on Twitter.
She probably was the one that was doing
But the whole thing.
Tell that ratchet no good rapper.
The whole thing that started it is that Meek Mill liked the picture, like the meme of Kenneth Petty, like.
That's what it was.
He was like standing and looking at it because they always talk about how he dresses because he cannot dress.
Not at all.
Really?
And he has
but mind you, no, it started because he was making fun of an outfit that he wore like a year before or something like that. He had the same pants or something else like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So wait, did he go to jail?
Petty?
Yeah.
Kenny?
Yes.
Oh, he did.
He did
Okay.
5
He was
years.
convicted.
He did 5 years.
He was
Okay.
convicted.
Okay.
So you don't even have to say alleged.
But
No,
back,
I meant alleged as in like I didn't want
you
anything,
didn't know.
like we don't know what happened. So like to say allegedly just kind of covers your behind.
Let me just say this. Allegedly, this man's face is messed up because he ain't got good bone structure. I'm looking at Mr. Petty's face and it's not good.
Okay.
Anyway,
Happiness.
I said this earlier,
It's confusing.
and I want to get back to it.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj, like I said, is going through some midlife crisis.
Right.
So she got this stuff for her husband. She retires from rap and then drops 3 singles. Like
She did a couple of features.
She did some
I thought
features.
she was going to drop a baby.
Yikes is
a single.
That was supposed to be the plan. She retired to start a family.
Yikes is a single. And I heard she got something else coming in the pipeline potentially, maybe. I miss the old Nikki.
Maybe she's just
I miss Dungeon Dragons Ricky.
Nikki needs to become single again.
Do you think it's the money?
I think her head's gotten too big, honestly. Because remember when she... Can I say what I gotta say? I just hear him like piping in my ear.
Well.
Because when you think about Nikki when she first started, like how she you know, she came from the mixtape days, working with Young Money, everything like that. And then, you know, when she got this whole queen persona, this is when all this drama came. Cardi B throwing shoes at her. She's fighting on Twitter with everybody, cussing out Miley Cyrus on stage.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fun one. I like that one.
Like, oh, this is the best.
She did go crazy on
I
stage.
remember that. I loved it.
Now, what were you gonna say?
I think that she doesn't need this man. And
No, she doesn't.
She got her. He ain't got. Don't look like he got money. He ain't bringing no looks to the table.
What in the world?
You know, it's just.
I know, like you're talking something. Your hairline uneven. You ain't that cute. You look dusty.
His jaw is uneven. But
Straight.
Oh yeah.
my thing is that if she wants a family, first of all, she better not want to have a child with this man because it ain't gonna come out looking right. But she needs to go to.
I mean, it ain't gonna come out looking like her anyway, currently.
Turned out. What are you about to say?
She don't look like herself.
Wow.
But she needs to go to. She needs to get a donor from a bank and get inseminated, have her own child, call it a day. Don't have no husband, and just leave it alone. Because obviously she doesn't know how to choose a man.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Honestly, what it boils down to is that when you accept the I got this from a movie. You accept the love you think we accept the love we think we deserve.
Very true.
So I think at the end of the day, I would love to have a conversation with her. Like, why him?
She'll push you out.
She'll push you out.
She don't like people talking about her man.
But then at the end of the day, I also feel like
Candy.
soul searching, I think is good. Being single, being by yourself, and kind of going through therapy. I mean, we've all talked about like earlier, like when we started filming about therapy, going to therapy, and wanting to speak to somebody. I mean, just to make sure that your decisions of what you're doing in your life are ones that are gonna be beneficial for you in the long run.
Gotcha.
So I don't know.
But Darnell mentioned Candy
Candy for what?
Burris. I believe is how you say her last name.
Because she's
Yeah,
always like, don't you talk about my man or my mama.
Apparently, I got some update from Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't watch that
I had
show.
nothing to
at
do with Candy, so I had to do with Kenya.
all. But it was the connection. Candy.
That was good.
He's
segue.
trying to segue. He's trying to piss.
I had to segue. The kid was there. You must
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm trying to get this hosting thing down pat. Y'all just
No, you got
So
it.
I know you don't watch.
Good job.
So we all watch. Have we been keeping up with the seasons and everything?
Yeah.
I go to my boyfriend's house and I watch it.
Atlanta's one of my favorite franchises. Jersey is my number one.
I used to watch.
Jersey is my number one. I DVR'd the reunion to come hang out with y'all and record these episodes. So,
but about Kenya, so
she cut
the episodes.
Sean, keep us on track.
I know. So about Kenya, so the episode was okay. So really, it was a preview for the next episode that
when they announced their separation.
When they announced the separation, which was like a few months.
I want to say September.
Right, months ago. But the episode before that they aired was just very uncomfortable and awkward because it was about her husband's charity thing.
The Black Men Expo, I think it's called. Right. To do like mentorship and everything in Atlanta.
So she was being like a good wifey and really helping him with it and did most of the work.
She said she did the catering. She set up like, I want to say, well, they found the event space together in a couple episodes ago, but like and then he got like the speakers. He did that part. She dressed him.
Yeah, and he just was it was very uncomfortable. He was very standoffish. Was very short with her throughout the entire like time of the episode, and I felt bad for her honestly because I mean she's shady and petty, sure. But at the end of the day, like nobody, no woman, no man, period, should be treated the way that she was treated.
Someone that you're married to,
right?
I feel like you should expect that type of support from someone to acknowledge the things that you do for them. Someone that's not going to talk to you like how he talks to her on camera. Because honestly, you said like this past episode wasn't comfortable to watch. I think every single scene they've been in has been uncomfortable.
It has been.
But let me say, well, there were a good couple of scenes where they seemed like very genuinely like a team.
A moment.
I can think of two.
But there were a few. But what I will say in defense of Mark is that one.
Yikes.
Yikes.
I think from the get-go when he got into this relationship with Kim.
Camille?
I was thinking more. Kenya.
I thought you were going to say Kim Zolciak.
But no, nobody wants to be in a relationship with her. But no, when he got into this relationship with her, I don't think that he wanted to. He didn't want to be in a relationship with Real Housewives of Atlanta too.
He thought it degraded black women,
and it does to an extent. It does, and that's why she did not appear last season. Is because he wasn't for the games, and he never appeared on camera. I think except for once. The last season she was on previously.
He showed 2
years ago.
He showed up at the end of the season 9 finale.
One time. So obviously he did not want to participate. And Kenya probably was like, babe, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And he doesn't want to do it. And it's obviously every time you see him on camera, he's pissed off because he doesn't want to be on camera. And I think that we're seeing things, him lashing out at Kenya. It's a manifestation of him not wanting to be on camera.
But do you think that's okay though for him to take it out on her?
Right.
I'm not saying that it's okay. It's just that's why he's acting.
Would you speak to your wife the way Mark has spoken to Kenya this season?
If Kenya put me in the predicaments that she's put Mark in.
But first of all,
yes.
no one's holding a gun to your head. I'm sure that the producers were like, here's a few thou to get you through. Maybe, and honestly, if it comes down to money, which I'm sure it did, but then he would show up. But
allegedly, she got a raise to appear on this season. With
he has a choice to say yes or no.
Right.
Period. She can't put a gun to his head and be like, "You're gonna film with me." No, it's a contract that you sign.
Because that's where he's from. That's where all his businesses are. He's from New York.
He's a contract he signed to be on the show. But we cannot just say that he was doing this, acting the way that he was towards her because of the show. We don't know what issues that they've had behind closed doors.
And they might have had some issues, but I also think that Kenya, when she's with the cameras and when she's with the girl, she turns into this other person that's just very mean, very biteful. Like the whole thing with Tanya, bringing the cookie lady,
so unnecessary.
and messing with people's relationships. And I think that Mark sees this side of his wife that he does not want to see. And he's like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this version of Kenya. I didn't sign up for all these cameras in my face. I didn't sign up for the blogs, for, being on social media 24/7. I think that it's a lot for a person to handle, especially if you come from such a private life, and then to be thrust into this public life. That's a lot to ask for a person. I don't think that Kenya properly prepared her husband, properly prepared her family for that, and so now she's all surprised that her husband's mistreating her. She created this whole entire atmosphere.
Okay, again, making blanket statements, because at the end of the day, we don't really know
Yeah,
their
2 minutes for
true
your final
relationship.
thoughts.
Well, that was all.
30 seconds.
That was all I was
For
gonna
my final
say.
thought, I'll say I'm happy Kenya's back. I do enjoy her on the show, even though she's a mess. I'm glad she has her peach back, and I feel like she'll be back for a couple seasons. Whether Mark's there or not, I love baby Brooklyn. She's adorable. But yeah, I do like Kenya on the show, but I feel like this season Mark has been absolutely horrible to her, and I'm not surprised that they got separated.
I think, for my final thought, if Kenya wants to save her marriage, she has to let go of the show.
I don't think that that's gonna save their marriage.
I think that if she wants a shot at it.
I don't think, honestly, final thought, sorry, I don't think it's
Second final thought.
Nope, I'm moving on.
I don't think it's a factor.
You think it could save it? You don't think it could? That teaches on. Really quickly, moving on. Spike Lee versus the New York Knicks. So, if you're not familiar with this, Spike Lee is
Spike Lee versus
essentially
Spike
a
Lee.
New York Knicks icon. He's been to ever since he's been famous. He's been courtside at Knicks games. He's
Look at these names.
apparently he said he's over the last 20 seasons. He's spent $10 million on tickets.
Oh my gosh.
He's at every home game. He's been to iconic games.
Does he have some ownership in the team?
I'm not sure. I don't think he does.
He might
I
as well
needs
at
to
that
get
point.
He might as well.
Grandfathered in.
But recently, Spike Lee, a video went viral of him being asked to leave the stadium. We weren't necessarily sure why. The video was taken from far away, but you heard people say, like, Mr. Lee, you can't be in here. We need you to leave out of this entrance and come at another one. You heard Spike Lee saying, and if you want me to leave, you have to arrest me like you did Charles Oakley. And then Spike Lee went on First Take the next morning. He did about a 20-minute segment, but to wrap it all up, he basically said he's been coming in the employee interest for the last 20 years. Every game, interest he comes in. All of a sudden, they say you can't come in this entrance. He's like, well, this is the interest I come in. This is what I'm doing. Eventually, they let him come in through that employee entrance. But then the owner, James Dolan, comes to him mid-game, sits next to him like, hey, can we talk? Spike's like, I ain't got nothing really to say to you. And then Spike says, I ain't coming to no more Knicks games.
Right.
Now, I guess the topic at hand is, in this specific case, specifically, do you think Spike was in the wrong? Do you think Spike was, in the right? Do you think the Knicks were in the wrong? And then a broader topic, talking about maybe celebrity culture. Do you think celebrities get away with stuff because of celebrities? Or do you think, he should have just did what he should have been doing from the beginning? I feel like a little bit of both. I feel like, one, yes, celebrities get away with stuff all the time. We know this. But two, the Knicks set a precedent by letting him do this for the past 20 years.
Right.
If they had an issue with it, they should have nipped it in the bud 20 years ago.
Right.
So in this case, yeah, it might be some celebrity bias, but I'd say that Spike used the entrance for the employees personally.
I think that, again, using that entrance for 20 years, again, like you said, it has created precedents. And then to say to a person and change the rules up on the person, I think that that's a bit unfair. Especially when a person has done a lot of things for that organization. Spike Lee's name has become synonymous with the Knicks. I mean, look at the memes. Look at, it's not a Knicks game if you don't see Spike Lee with his hands, looking like your black mama waiting for you to get inside the house before the lights turn on.
Yeah, he's the face of that franchise.
Exactly. I think that if I was a part of that organization and I was higher up and I saw that they were about to change that, and hopefully I would foresee that would have been a problem, and I would have talked to Spike Lee's people to see if he would take an honorary position so that he could still use that employee entrance legally so that there wouldn't be any issue. But call him like a brand ambassador for the Knicks or something.
That's what Drake is for the Raptors.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Drake's an employee for the Toronto Raptors. He's
So-
a brand ambassador.
That's where I was coming from, as far as you said something about celebrity culture, getting away with things because you're a celebrity. Yeah, it does, but I feel like when it crosses into like that celebrity and sports realms, like when you're not actually like a celebrity going to a sports game, you're like Spike Lee going to a Knicks game, or like Drake for the Raptors, Kevin Hart to an Eagles game.
Yeah,
it's different.
It's not
it's
just
very different, and I think that they should try to correct this as best as possible, and not use that little whack statement that they sent out.
Yeah.
So I disagree with all of you. I agree and disagree, and I only say that because I think that maybe the Knicks should have came at it at a different angle. It's all about approach and how you approach people. Where you work in, I work in retail and I work around people, and it's every time I have an issue with somebody of like they can use a coupon or whatever the case may be, I don't just like no, you can't use it. That's it. And then they get mad, they get angry. The approach is terrible. So to me, knowing
and embarrassing, right? Because that video went viral.
Right. So now you're looking to have me looking like a fool. I would have said, you know what, Spike, like, here's the situation. Here's why we changing.
Don't do it in front of everybody. Like, pull him to the side. Like, take him up to an office or something.
Yeah, like this is why we're changing.
After the game.
This is why we're changing this policy. You know, I understand you've been doing this for 20 years, but unfortunately, things have changed, and now we have to require people to use the VIP section. Do you mind? Could you comply with our new rules and regulations that we have?
And then at that point, if they had approached that way, and Spike Lee is still being difficult, then that's when it becomes like
right. Then now like you're looking crazy.
Right.
So I feel like it comes down to, and I just had a conversation with this about somebody, just about customer service. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, customer service. He's been a customer for 20 some odd years, but I don't feel like he should have came across. He shouldn't have been so entitled. I will say that. Like on the flip side, don't feel like I owe you to do whatever. No, they really don't owe him anything. At the end of the day, honestly,
courtesy,
they don't make and break. The Knicks, it's like Spike Lee does make or break whether the team does good or whether they're, you know what I mean? And that goes the same way for a customer. If I have a customer who's like, oh, I'm not shopping here again. At a certain store, I had that. And it was like, no, I mean, okay, but like, don't feel entitled. You know, there's rules and regulations, just policies. So on Spike Lee's place, I would be like, so I've been coming here for 20 years. Why now? And then at that point, that gives the Knicks a platform to say, this is why. So that's all.
Because Spike said to your point, the Knicks said they contacted him, but they didn't really say that. They kind of said he contacted him. Spike went on air and said they didn't tell me about this beforehand. They just hit me with this out of nowhere.
At the door was the first time.
Well, you
was all about the approach. Yeah.
I didn't see it, but it sounds like he was probably visibly surprised.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So to me, if somebody's visibly surprised, they might have reached out to so and so, this manager, that manager, thinking that they were talking to him,
but they didn't talk to him.
Right. So.
Yeah.
That's just me.
The Knicks got to do right by Spike Lee. That's all I think that we're.
I mean, like I said, it goes both ways.
So, Matt, how was your date?
It was good. You know, just grabbed some lunch, had fun. It was nice.
Aww. Don't.
Did you get to know anything special about the other person?
I mean, kinda. It was just kind of like meeting, small talk.
Well, part of small talk and getting to know people is the love languages. Familiar with them? If you're not familiar with the love languages, it was a study done by, I should know, some doctor.
Dr. Lipschitz.
From Rugrats?
I was confused.
Why do you think you were saying like
the love languages are 5 languages that everyone has them. Some people you just rank higher on others. And they're basically how you internalize showing and like receiving love. It's how what essentially fills what's called your love tank. We recently did, these two recently did the love language.
I heard about them before, but I never really actually took the test.
Gotcha.
And my results that I got were pretty much like what I thought I was gonna get. Like I'll talk about like my top 2.
Okay.
My top 2, I got a 9 for quality time. And then I got an 8 for words of affirmation. Quality time I can definitely see because I'm like that in like friendships as well. I just like spending time with the people I care about. I don't really care what we're doing. I just want to be around people I like.
I see that for you.
And then words of affirmation, I'm like that in like my job, like my schoolwork, anything like that. I just like hearing like I'm appreciated and I did a good job. So like I was expecting these to be like very high with my results.
Well, I didn't go into it with any expectation at all. I just took the test. But my top 2, first one being physical touch and the second one being acts of service. I understand physical touch.
Acts of service, interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting, yeah.
So I understand physical touch.
That's because that's the hospitality element.
That's true.
That's the always trying to ask for.
Yeah.
That's like I said, where the honey at, he get up and get it for me.
Right.
And they kept, wow.
That's true.
It just clicked. I'm sorry, continue, but it just really clicked.
Yeah.
At least that. Hopefully y'all see that I do love y'all. But physical touch. I understand physical touch because I come from a very a family where we do touch each other a lot. Not in the bad way, but like we show that we love each other by hugging, kiss on the cheek. Like for example, my great grandmother who passed away, I think it's over a year now. Even while she was sick and everything, one thing that we always used to do on Sundays when we would pick her up from church, I'd always used to hold her hand, even when she wasn't sick.
Oh,
and so like walking into church, I would always hold her hand. And so it was always some type of physical touching, holding hands, hugging. So I understand that with coming from my family background, where we're very, we show you that we love each other like this. Like
it's the first hug he's ever given me, guys.
No, it is not. Shut your mouth. But like I have a whole lot of pictures with me and my little cousins, and we're just like this. And like that's the type of closeness that we have in my family. So that's why that is what it is. And then acts of service. And like I like when people do stuff for me. I like to do stuff for people.
Well, you serve in church, so that makes sense.
Well, I come from a very hospitable family. That's what we do.
My one aunt, having company over and like.
Yeah. My one aunt, I stayed over at her house, and she made me a night over basket full of snacks, shavers, everything that you could possibly think that you would need. But then also when I was taking the test, I was thinking in the realm of, I want somebody who will help me build. Mm-hmm. And so knowing that I would have somebody that would be willing to help me as much as I help them, I think that that's important.
Yeah, the way they ask the questions is like you would feel more fulfilled if your partner did like A or B. Mm-hmm. I was really seriously thinking about a couple of them. It was
some of them are hard.
That's why I like that a lot of them are A and B, because sometimes you're like, well, I like both of these, but you gotta pick which one you like more. So it really helps get to the nitty gritty. Camille, what's yours?
I'm quality time, and physical touch, which is ironic because I'm not a touchy person. Like, don't hug me. Oh Lord, now I just started something.
But like once you let somebody in, you're like kind of like more okay with it.
Yeah,
like,
well, if it's their love language and I know it is, I'll let them hug me because I know that what it means for them. Mm. So like I'm not like so standoffish where I'm like, oh no, don't touch me. Yeah. Like I know for you, Aaron, you're
I'm hugging.
You're a hugger.
I'm Hug McGee.
Yeah. Oh. So like when you my friends, whoever I know who is like a hugger, I'm like I'm not gonna be like, don't touch me. Yeah. But like it's whatever. But time, I'm all about time. Like I don't. You can say all the words you want, but like show me. Mm-hmm. Show me, okay. Yeah.
Question. Yes. But what about gifts?
I'm not.
Because you like a good gift.
I like a thoughtful gift.
I mean, yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything that's like.
Do you know if gifts was like how high gifts was for you
gifts
when you did it?
Gifts was low. Yeah, I think I want to say
for mine,
this is my lowest.
For mine, gifts was in the middle.
Yeah. Really?
Because I feel like personally, like, not to toot my own horn, I am a good gift giver, and I do like receiving like gifts also. And I do have like nice things,
right.
and like thoughtful things, just like you said. So yeah, gifts was in the middle for me. I want to say here. Let me pull it back up. Gifts is my number 3.
Nice. Mine top 1. Camille already touched it. Physical touch. I'm a hugger. My family hugs all the time. Yada yada. That's just me. My second and third one are tied. Actually, when I did it, they were like the same. We're quality time and words of affirmation. Similar to what Camille said. And need people like spend time with me, yada yada yada. But I'm also really big on words of affirmation. Hearing how someone feels about me is huge for me. And then acts of service and receiving gifts were very low for me. I appreciate a gift, but it ain't gonna make or break me.
So I have a question. So since you're engaged, I'm in a relationship.
I'm a flex on. I'm engaged.
To me, I think was interesting.
Me and Precious are the exact opposite.
Well, right. Well, so was me and my boyfriend. But I noticed that certain things that's not a thing for him, he doesn't necessarily do. But I didn't realize through dating and
That's
all
the point.
that that I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I felt like, oh, am I like a words of affirmation person? Because he's not really a wordy guy. That's just not him. But then, like, I kind of almost, it kind of threw me. I had to put myself in check.
That's the cool part about this love languages, because one, it's, you know, when you're talking about it, about just yourself and how you, one, react with friends and family, but also when it comes to being in a relationship with a significant other. And that's why I mentioned that thing earlier, talking about like the love tank, because you learn how your person receives love and receives, you know, things. So like that's why it's good to have that conversation with your partner. To learn what it is that kind of makes them tick, to make sure you're filling their love tank in the way that they can receive love. Because you could be doing what you think is a whole lot of work, but if they're not receiving it, it's not necessarily saying you're not doing work, but they just not receiving it. And it's not that they're doing it on purpose. It's just how they're wired.
They may not even realize that it's something that you need.
Exactly. That's been my arguments here and there with my boyfriend, is that like, he's like, but I've been doing so. I'm like, I'm not saying you haven't, but I don't need that. I need this.
I think that it gets to a certain point where you understand the other individual well enough. Because, again, I'm not that big of a gift person, evidently, through this nice little test that I took. But let's say if I got with somebody that likes to give gifts.
And then that's the point.
I understand that that's how they're telling me that they love me.
Yeah.
And that's all right.
So he's evolved. Because remember in the first episode, the whole Valentine's Day thing. That was...
Well, because Valentine's is a farce.
But that's a perfect example of me and the Precious. Like, gifts are one of her high things. And like I said, with the Valentine's Day thing, she just give me stuff. I'd be like, you didn't need to. You didn't need I appreciate it, but you didn't need to do this. And she don't do it because she needed to do it. She just do it because I was out. She was out, and boom, boom, boom. And that's the whole point of the whole thing, of understanding that's how your partner shows, and that's how your partner... Part of it is that's how your partner shows, but even bigger is almost how your partner receives. So you can be sure to make sure your partner knows how you feel.
But just like y'all realize that me doing acts of service is a way that I show y'all that.
That made so much sense.
Yeah.
I can't explain.
Y'all feel the love now. Aww.
I didn't say that.
Nope, sure didn't. But speaking of love, did you know it's blind?
Oh my god.
I know that.
So Love is Blind is a show. It's a reality show on Netflix. Everybody was. Did you just say Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles? Lord have mercy.
It's getting late.
It's a reality show on Netflix. The reunion is dropping this Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it at all. I'm gonna keep it
I've never seen it.
But
I just heard about it.
The topic of it is interesting, and that's why we're bringing it up, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think the premises of the show is basically two people you only meet through talking.
So it's a group of people. You have a group of men and a group of women. And it's almost like speed dating, except you don't see the other person.
Yes.
And so you go to these rooms, these special rooms where you talk. Where you communicate with the other person through a wall. And you can't see them, but all you can do is hear their voice, and you have conversation. Some of the conversations are great. They make great connections. Other conversations are like, who the heck is this idiot?
Yeah.
And real quick, one of the couples that was on there, I don't remember their names off the top of my head. They were on Watch What Happens Live last night, and they said the shortest conversation that they're engaged. So they said the shortest conversation that they had was like, I think she said 45 minutes, and the longest was like around 4 hours.
Wow.
So going into that, you don't see the other person until they propose to you.
Yes,
so you have to be engaged before you see them, and so then you become engaged, and then you set a date, which is almost like a month later.
So like
and you get married.
But worse, because it's like 30-day fiance.
Is this on TLC?
No, this is on Netflix.
Oh, because there's something that's on TLC that's very similar.
I mean, there's a bunch of shows out like that.
It smells kind of skunkish outside, doesn't it? Because I feel like I smell skunk.
All right. Sure. But the point of this, right? Where did I put it?
Oh, the scroll. Below it.
So the point of this, a clip went viral from the show, which the only reason the show even came on my radar was because two things. So one of the guys and the girl, they became engaged.
Yes.
And then somewhere in there, the guy told his fiance that he used to be bisexual.
Oh.
And then she got like mad, conflicted, confused, just didn't really know how to respond.
That's fair.
A lot of people talk about that, but I don't want to focus on just that. I want to also talk about when is too soon, because this is a bad example. Mm-hmm. They got engaged in like 4 days, then they were married in like a month. It's a bad example. It's not real life. But when is too soon to let somebody know some big things you got in your life? Like maybe, I did 5 years in jail for tax fraud or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, when is time to tell things like that? Because you can't just pull that out on the first date.
Right.
Because a lot of people are like, well, why did you wait so long to tell her?
No.
Well, you couldn't tell her.
Let me say this. First off, he didn't say that he used to be bisexual. He said that he was, in his younger days, he was attracted to men and women. And he just feels like to settle down now, he wants to be with a woman. He didn't say that he still doesn't have feelings for men.
So he didn't say that until the part where they met each other.
No, that was after they got engaged. I mean, if you were having 4-hour conversations with the person, I think that's something that should have popped up.
I mean, I feel like this is why quality time is one of my big love languages, because there really is no like right or wrong time we can say he should have told her. It really depends on that connection. Like in that quality time, in their conversations, they're getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. So then, yeah, maybe if you're getting close. Well, obviously they're close because they got engaged. You're getting like close enough to getting close enough to this person that you would see a future with them. Then yeah, you should have disclosed that information if it was relevant to their future.
I'm saying he should have disclosed that on the first date, on the first conversation.
Because there's some people that would go for it.
No, because here's the thing. Because so this is coming from a woman. From a woman's standpoint, we think of everything. So like, if I don't know if you're bisexual because now I gotta look out for who you're talking to.
I don't want to get stuck on just
who's that friend.
I don't want to get stuck on being bisexual. I'm just saying anything. Any skeletons. You want all skeletons out the closet day one?
It depends on the level. It depends on the level. So being bisexual, I kind of want to know that. That's like, because especially if he said it into that degree of like, right now I'm settling it with a woman. So you're saying that you were never. He says in the future
in his future he sees himself settling down with a woman. Period. His past is kind of irrelevant. Honestly, in this case, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I feel like he didn't have to tell her. I feel like it's completely irrelevant.
Wow.
What?
I feel like if he's saying in the past that he was attracted to men, and for how many years ago did he say?
What you talking?
How many years ago did he say?
I can't remember, but it don't matter.
Months, years, days, minutes,
if it's in his past, if he has no intention of being with a man in the future,
let me play you some devil's advocate because I'm gonna touch on the nerve to see where you really at. Let's flip it.
Okay.
A woman tells her man fiance, I used to be attracted to women in the past. I realized if I wanted to settle down, I wanted to be the man. Do you have the same reaction?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Homophobic.
No. But it's.
Is it the same?
I just want to.
I would just.
If a woman says to a man, I used to be attracted. Hold on. I'm gonna re-explain it to me. I used to be attracted to women. Mm-hmm. I realized that I wanted to settle down, and I only see myself settling down with a man. So now I'm with you. But I'm telling you. I didn't say I'm not no longer attracted to women.
Can I just?
Do you still think she should tell that on the first day? I just want to check.
No. Yes. But honestly, when it comes to guys, though, low key, some of them don't even care. Like they're like, yeah, great. Bring women.
Can I just say
to make sure we were keeping that same energy.
Can I just say this? I don't. It doesn't matter. No, I'm not backtracking.
He's like, well,
I was homophobic. No. What my thing is that I still would want to know that information.
Yes, first date.
Either way.
On the first date?
Not first date. Not first date.
She's saying first. She's saying
that's where we detract a little.
I feel like
that's where we detract a little bit.
That's
I think that when it gets to a point where you feel like there's going to be a settling down, and that there's a lot of emotions growing and a lot of feelings growing towards an individual, and you see yourself falling in love with them. I think that there's a time to sit down, and I feel like y'all should be like, let's get all the skeletons out of the closet.
Personally, I think that made more sense. I don't agree with you that it's irrelevant completely, but I do think because there should be some time to actually be able to make that connection with somebody, because there might not be no reason to let your skeletons in the closet, because if you don't even make that connection, if y'all break out, like it don't even work in a week, there was no point in me telling you in in the first place.
He didn't say he murdered somebody.
I'm not talking about that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to. That's why I said I'm not trying to stick to just them. I'm trying to just say in skeletons and closets. So I'm using my example of I did 5 years in jail for tax fraud.
Right. That's important.
There's no point. That's a big one.
But to me,
that's what you're.
But even still, to me, there's no point in saying that on the first date. That's a.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We made some connections.
I definitely don't think you should have.
I think on the first date,
you slowly reveal yourself to a person. You don't just.
You're getting to know personality.
If I'm telling you I went to jail, that is important. I will tell you eventually. I will disclose that information.
It's like an onion. You don't just open it up and once you got it's layers that you reveal to somebody.
Here's the thing.
So on the first date, you just cracking your egg open. You just exposing your yolk on the first date.
Right. I'm saying that again, it's all about how you approach the conversation. So if I'm on a date, I want to say, okay, where do you see this going, or what do you see?
You asking the questions. Day one, Camille. Jesus.
I still got my man. He's great. He's fine. I mean, I did on all my dates. Really, I mean, to me.
I'd be like, man, I'm out of here. I'm not handing her back. I ain't gonna hold you.
I would say,
somebody try to come to me with that.
I would say there's certain things I think with everybody that's on their list of things that are like deal breakers. You know what I mean? So I feel like there needs to be conversation at least.
There needs to be conversation.
About
I just don't agree it needs to be on the first date.
I don't mind.
That's where I'm at.
I feel like don't waste my time.
That's a whole lot.
Waste your time. I don't want to waste my
one.
time. If I fall for you and then you tell me something that to me is
that's
a deal
what I'm saying.
breaker.
So you do that before you had that conversation early, or it's on the onus of both parties. If you feel like you need maybe to ask.
It's like
just ask your deal break.
Okay, honestly,
it's not a day on it. It's a feeling. It's a moment. It's a evolution.
I'll say this: if someone completely opens up to me like all their skeletons out of the closet on the first date, I'm leaving because that would make me uncomfortable.
You scaring me.
It depends on what's in the well, I'm gonna be like, so what happened? I murdered 50 people and I buried.
Hold on. I wasn't done. For me, it takes me a long time to open up to people. So if you're 100% opening up to me like that, it's really gonna make me uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm balling up.
So if you spilled all your beans on the table to me, I'm gonna sit there like. Okay.
Again, it's how you say it.
So no, it doesn't matter how they said it. They could have put it in a box with a bow on it. I still don't want it on the first date. I don't care because I'm not giving you mine.
So, Camille, I have a question. Since you're saying that you feel like the other person should disclose a lot of things on the first date, what are some things that you disclose on your first dates? Since you want transparency from the other person,
right.
Obviously you're being transparent with them. Hopefully.
Yeah, are you willing to do the double?
No, I am. I think that we both, I guess it stems from, for me, I don't do not waste my time. Don't waste my time. Honestly, I like to date. I like to have fun. That's fine. But I'm not the type where it's like, we're going to fall. Honest, for real though, I'm 28. I just turned 28. Shout out to my Aquariuses. I just turned 28, so I feel like at this point in my age, especially, I don't have time for the bull crap. I don't have time for you to beat around the bush, whatever. So I will definitely give back any type of question. But like I said, it all just depends on how it comes up in the conversation. I'm not saying you got to be all blunt with it and all harsh and be like, well, I did, no, if wherever the conversation leads and there's necessary to divulge important information, then go with the flow of the conversation.
No matter how I received
I don't know
these deal breakers,
I'm done.
It would make me uncomfortable because
I don't know where the conversation is going for some of these things to be popping up. First day, where you work? Oh, okay. Any hobbies? All right.
Were you bisexual?
Did you do jail time?
But to me, I would think, I guess, okay, in my mindset also, I would think that we would already have had established a rapport with each other beforehand, to where a first date, it's more so now we're physically going out, physically seeing each other instead of just texting or calling each other. So if you want to talk about a speed dating, no, there's no point in that. Or a blind date where you haven't talked to each other, then all right, that's a different circumstance. But if you have a rapport, completely, just a little bit. If you have a rapport with that person, I feel like there's a comfortability to where I can at least divulge a little bit of things that are
a little bit, not too much.
I just
dip your toe in it.
Camille wants to think she wants to jump up the
low-key, I don't mind.
She wants to do a cannon.
I don't mind.
Clearly.
Clearly. If I was single and some guy was let's go on a date and he wants to tell me all the things, Tell me all the things.
I'm standing on the pool. I'm standing on the pool steps.
I think that when it comes to a part where your relationship becomes deeper. Now, with the bisexual thing, I am a person that, because there are people that believe. No, heck no.
The way you started off was sorry.
No,
my bad.
But there are people that believe that there is no such thing as bisexuality, and I think that's stupid and ignorant.
Who believes that?
A lot of people.
Really? I didn't know that.
They do. They're like
people from our high school.
People from your high school, people at college, everything.
That's a whole other topic. Y'all gotta tell me off camera.
But my thing is that, like, let's say if I had somebody in my life and they said that, you know, I wouldn't hold it against them. It's not.
Darnell,
what?
Do not lie on camera.
No,
tell me.
He said somebody in his life, not somebody he's trying to date.
Okay.
So even with dating, I think that if a woman said that she had past relationship, first of all saints have a past and all sinners have a future. And like Matt said, you know, if a person isn't doing certain things anymore, then, you know, what's it to me? I think that I could look past those things. Honestly, I think I could. Wow. I'm not. Listen, y'all think I'm very uptight. Folks. I ain't that uptight as long as she has a pulse. That's what I'm looking at this point. As long as she has a pulse. Oh. Okay. Right. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, I do have standards. I do have standards.
He takes a first class trip to Desperate.
But take, for example, like, I'm not sure if you listened to her, but Jackie Hill Perry.
Oh yeah, she's
a spoken word artist.
That's a good example.
She used to live in a lesbian lifestyle. Yeah. She no longer chooses to live in that lifestyle, and she's married to a man who has a child, and I think she has another baby on the way. Yeah. No,
she has 2 kids.
She has 2 kids. Yeah. Okay. So in a situation like that, why am I going to be judging, looking at her like?
Well, that's different. I mean, we're talking about somebody who's a Christian, who came and realized, you know, whatever her testimony is, but like someone who's not. I
ain't gonna date no person that's not no Christian.
I know that, but I'm saying, okay.
I'm gonna date a booty?
I just don't think it's
a what?
A booty?
You cannot say that.
You do not just call a Buddhist a booty.
You cannot say that, Darnell.
I'm glad y'all know the dictionary of Darnell. I
got that from Tyler Perry. I just want to let y'all know. So if y'all mad at me, look at Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry is going to be like, I never said that.
Yes, he did. I got the video.
You got receipts.
But I don't, personally,
I can do bad all by myself the stage play.
In terms of all of it, anything, that skeletons in the closet, I just think it just comes out with time. You just share things. At the end of the day, that's just my opinion. I think you just share things over time.
Like, as I get to know, again, like I said with my love languages, and the same thing in friendships. If I feel comfortable enough with the person, I become more of an open book. Like, you want to know something, you ask me. Like the story I told you guys off camera. You expect me to tell somebody that on first date? Nope, repeat it.
I would watch it too. That would be so interesting. I would watch that video.
I'm just saying that I don't know. I'm gonna eat my chocolate. I'm just saying there's some things that I would definitely want to know on the first date if it's going to waste my time.
Okay.
Do not waste my time.
All right.
That's all. I'm just saying. I'm gonna sip my tea. I'm gonna eat my chocolate. That's it.
First of all, that ain't your chocolate. It's my chocolate.
All right. Well, you gave it to me. So.
In conclusion, any other final thoughts?
I think that going into a relationship, I think that you need to be open-minded. Don't be so ready to judge a person by their past.
I'm gonna start out with all his like preacher voice when he final thoughts.
Don't judge a person by their past, because again, I don't think that anybody wants to be identified by the past things that they did. We all do terrible things, and so don't keep yourself out of the blessing because you're so transfixed on
these SAT words.
You're transfixed on deal breakers that ultimately might become irrelevant.
Do that.
And that's it.
Okay. People share things with time. That's my take.
I totally agree with that.
You know.
Anything else, man?
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, we wrapping it up. That's the last topic.
Well, I mean,
box of Trojans.
We got it.
I think that honesty is the best policy. Okay. So.
I feel like I've never heard you do that before.
That was my best one I've ever done.
Okay.
Not gonna lie, I'm really trash. Like I'm really bad at it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. The last 5 minutes of this, if you're watching, it looks different because the camera died. I'm gonna keep it at that way.
It's very yellow.
It don't look as good.
Don't judge us.
But thanks for watching. Let us know if you have any more topics in the comments. We'll catch you in the next episode. We out of here.
Bye.